We have a special guest here today with us, Mr. Bob Bingham from Missouri Mule Company is here to talk about mules.
Mules, you know, mules are Missouri's animal, state animal, and there's a reason for that. You know, back in the 1800s, the mule was what helped develop the economy for the United States, and Missouri was the one that produced them. It was the 18-wheeler of the 1800s. So what we do at Missouri Mule Company is we've gone to the next generation of mule. We produce a gaited saddle mule. And the reason we've done that is we've got plenty of 18-wheelers on the road, as everybody knows, but we've got a baby boomer group out here that wants safety. Safety is what they're all about. So we produce a mule that is safe. We put Tucker saddles on them, which are comfortable, and they hit the trails with their new trail buddies and have a great time.
So we've transitioned from the animal that helped settle the West, form this nation, to, you know, from a pack type animal. Now we've transitioned all to probably one of the safest, most comfortable saddle animals out there.
Yeah, because, you know, we've been sitting behind desks too long, most of us, and it gets to where you don't have the balance and stuff. We've had the opportunity to go out and ride a lot of different situations. We've ridden Florida, we've ridden the Smokies, we've ridden out in San Francisco in the Redwoods, we've ridden the Grand Canyon even, and just had some great rides, and we've always been kept safe with the Tuckers, comfortable especially. You know, we're safe because we got the right animal, but the Tucker saddle really keeps us comfortable.
Now out of all the places that you've ridden, I'm assuming, to me, the Grand Canyon would have to stick out as the biggie.
That's right, Josh. I'll tell you what, the Grand Canyon will test your nerves, your animal safety, and the comfort of your equipment. So it was a good place to go, and you know, it took a year to get that planned out. When we got there, everything went great. You think that it's difficult to look at the Grand Canyon? I'm going to tell you something. When you're sitting 8 foot in the air on the back of a mule, that's when it gets pretty unnerving.
It intrigues me as well because this is something that's not just open to the general public. Not anybody can just show up on some sort of animal and ride their way into the Grand Canyon. This is something that has to be approved and sourced through the National Park Service?
That's correct, and there are only on an average, 5 private stock groups that go into the Grand Canyon every year. We went in 8 times in a week and a half last year and had a great time. We have to work with the people that set the permits out in the bottom. But you know, all that paperwork and stuff is only the start of a great trip, because you can't experience the Grand Canyon from the visitors platform like you can down in it. I tell people, to experience the Grand Canyon, you need it in front of you, behind you, above you, and below you. And that's where you get about an hour into that ride.
Yeah. There's a lot of things, just like what you alluded to, that the typical person isn't going to see from the visitors platform. There's a lot of different ecosystems, a lot of different life down in the canyon that you've got to witness, and these other folks that have gone on these rides with you.
Exactly. From the top to the bottom, there are 5 ecosystems. From Mexico to Canada, there's 7 ecosystems. So you get to see a lot of varying environment. It's not like the same thing over and over again. And you know, being on a mule, sitting in a Tucker saddle, is so much better than hiking, because the first hour as you ride in, the hikers and tourists are gawking around and they're looking around. But once you hit an hour, the ones going down and the ones coming out, they're looking at the toes of their tennis shoes so they don't trip and fall.
Yeah.
So the guys that ride the mules, whether it's the commercial mules or private stock, they get to see the real vistas continuing for approximately 10 hours riding in 2 days.
Wow, that's unbelievable. So explain to us the difference, why you would prefer to take a Missouri Mule Company mule to the bottom of the Grand Canyon as opposed to a horse.
When we take a jackass and we breed it to a mare, the mare has the flight, the jack has the stand and fight in it, as most ranchers know. So we blend those two together and we come up with the hybrid mule. The hybrid mule loses the flight of the horse, but it maintains and keeps the good parts of the horse. So where a horse, for instance, the first hour down, people are there that aren't prepared to hike. So they've got Walmart bags, and other people have giant backpacks. They don't realize you don't take anything in that you don't want to carry out. So there's a lot of frightening things, cameras flashing, Walmart bags, that an animal has to take. And I'm going to tell you something, it's not a good place to make a mistake. It's not a good place to take a foot to the left whenever there's nothing there to step on.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things that we run into at the canyon.
Yeah, and to me, the sure-footedness of a mule is probably an extremely important element as well. Not only that flight risk syndrome, but just the sure-footed ability to walk on literally a narrow goat-type trail where there's a 1,000-foot drop to one side. I want something underneath me that is going to stick to that trail.
Focus is imperative.
Yeah.
And you know, comfort is too. We've ridden your Tucker saddles for a long time, and you've made some great developments in them. And I tell people, you better have the right equipment and you better have it adjusted right, because sitting on a 1,000-foot drop-off is no place for a buck out.
Yeah.
You don't want a soreback mule there.
Yeah, for sure. And that's where, you know, I feel lucky that we've spent enough time at your place developing a tree that really fits a mule's back, and a lot of added features that we'll get to later that really make that saddle important for what you do, as well as just the average consumer that's going to be out trail riding.
It's a key. I mean, we don't want to ride bareback.
Yeah.
And it's a key element in safety and comfort of my customer when they're out trail riding.
Yeah, yeah. Bob, let's just say, I know there's probably thousands of people out there who want to live your lifestyle.
Yeah.
What's the best way for them to get in touch with you?
You know, that's right. People want to go places and ride, and a lot of people don't get to, so we've spent a lot of effort in a few areas to make that happen for them, and they can do it right in their living room. We've got multiple movies on YouTube. We have diaries of individual mules on our website, so you can get to know these animals. You can see the new generation of mule. You don't need to be stuck in the past with the draft animal mules. You know, we can get right up current, and they can get that feel right there on the website. And we've even gone to the extent now to Facebook. You can friend our Missouri Mule Company Facebook, and we try to keep real-time movies, whether it's training, trail riding, or whatever. So you can vacation the USA at Missouri Mule Company in several different ways.
Yeah. Folks, that's Bob Bingham from Missouri Mule Company. You can find out more about Missouri Mules at MissouriMuleCo.com or at a link at pfiwestern.com. Now let's check out some of the highlights from Bob's Grand Canyon ride.